Hey, you all. Welcome to day one, week one of Drugs and Society. I'm your professor, Dr. Chris Connor. And this lecture, all I'm going to do is basically go over the syllabus and um, just kind of outline the course, what it is we're going to do here, and hopefully give you a sense of how the semester is going to proceed. So, I like to keep these as tight and as short as possible. So let me just go over to this screen. So this is your syllabus. You can find this on Canvas, and I do highly recommend each of you check it out, look it over, print out a copy. My contact info is there. It is best to email me using this email. You can use Canvas. Um, and if you do email me, one thing I would definitely ask, please put the name of the course. It just helps me help you a little bit quicker. Um, since we are a asynchronous online course, meaning you basically work through the material at your own pace, my office hours are by appointment, and it's it's pretty easy for you to get in touch with me. Afternoons are generally a little freer for me. Most of my administrative stuff is during the daytime. So this course looks at the underlying reasons as to why people use drugs in society. Um, so I know some of you are taking this class for different reasons. Many of you are probably taking it because you want to understand what sociology has to say about addiction. And unlike psychology or maybe even health sciences, we argue that there's something inherent in the system that causes people to use drugs, whether that be some kind of anxiety or economic pressure they're facing, and this provides them with an out for them to uh, be able to, ease their own suffering or something else, right? Um, we also ask as sociologists, why are some drugs considered legal and others illegal? Why is it that alcohol has been legal for my entire life while marijuana has been only legal for a few years here in Missouri? Um, Another very interesting sociological question, and I have not verified this, so please forgive me. But at one time, I was told we were the largest marijuana drug market in the United States. So why is that? Right? That's a very interesting question. Um, and feel free to use that for your final project. As far as prerequisites go, this course doesn't have any, but I strongly encourage you to have taken at least one other sociology course, intro sociology, social problems, something so that you're at least familiar with the logic of sociology and how we do things. The other thing that I would employ or ask you uh, to have before coming into this course is some knowledge about how to do a research paper or a research report. Um, so you need to know how to cite sources properly and how to do research using the Internet Library databases. There are many students who come to this course and they will cite just you know, ilovemarijuana.com. I don't even know if that's a real site. I'm just throwing it out there, but they're using some kind of site on that level. And that's just not appropriate for a 4,000 level college course. We are trying to teach you how to differentiate between good sources and bad sources of information. Um, One of the things that differentiates someone who writes a book as a scholar within a institution of higher learning that is published with a academic university press is that before that book even hits the shelves, there are as many as 5 different scholars who have read the work and have said, yes, this is this document, this journal article, this book, this whatever, um, it meets the highest threshold of our understanding of how to conduct scientific research at that moment, right? Now, down the road, our tools might develop and we might develop new methods or find new information that can counteract that. But at that point in time, when that product is released, that's the latest, greatest that science has to offer. And so it's important that you know how to look those up and that you know the difference between um, a credible scholarly source and something else. To give you an example of a kind of pre-COVID thing, right? There's a difference between the Wall Street Journal and uh, the tabloids, right? There's a different threshold of what gets published in those, and many of you come from the journalism school, and you understand this. Others of you maybe haven't had a course in the J school, so you don't. But I'm telling you, there is a difference in news outlets and you know in what gets published. But academic research, it hits a very almost higher threshold than even uh, um, journalistic accounts, right? Not to say that they're not bad, but you need to learn how to do that. And if you don't know how to do that, um, you may run into problems with your final project. So the other thing that you need to have if you're going to take this course is some level of understanding about how to use a personal computer. Um, I am not an IT expert. Uh, my role here is to basically administer the content of the course, but we do have a magnificent IT department where you can even take your computer into them and they will take a look and help you troubleshoot. And um, you can click the link here in the syllabus um, to to look at IT. So do it.missouri.edu. Of course, the link's broken. Somebody's updated something, but this page, right, Division of Information Technology, will get you where you need to be in terms of trying to find help, trying um, to navigate all this, right? And the tech support team is really pretty good here compared to other universities that I've worked at. So I have some learning objectives here and some outcomes. Essentially, I'm just going to kind of blow through these. Not that they're not important, but essentially, what you're going to be able to do is to look at the different theories that we have within sociology and apply them to the real world. That's what this course is all about: how to apply sociology to the real world using the topic of drugs and society. So, as far as the course format, it's a 16-week course um, that has a couple different moving parts to it. One of those things are discussion posts, and we also have quizzes. And you need to do your discussion posts on Monday and respond to your classmates on Wednesday, and take the quiz for that week by Friday. That gives you the weekend to kind of start in on the next material. There is a summer version of this course, and it's the same material, but it's much faster pace. And students, I don't know, this summer they didn't do too well, so I'm not sure why. Hopefully, you will do much better. There are 2 required texts. So the first is Buzz the Straight Facts about the most used and abused drugs from alcohol to ecstasy. And this text is written by some folks who have a background in pharmacology and who are medical doctors. They give you the stuff that I don't know because I'm not trained in that. But they also do a really good job of talking about the social side. So that's why I chose that text. The other text is Dorm Room Dealers, which is a ethnographic study of college students in Southern California who deal drugs and why they do it. And it's a very interesting account. I would highly recommend starting in on Dorm Room Dealers because essentially there's part of the course. There's a week where you're going to read the front part of that, and there's a week where you're going to read the back part of that. So it is kind of a lot of reading, but it's a very easy read and it's a very light read. So I think you could get through it conceivably within a week. But planning and being a self-starter is the key to this course. Most people do well in this course. The people who don't do well in this course are those who just basically don't do the work, or they are taking, something absurd like, 20 credit hours in the semester, and they think that this class is going to be super easy. And then they find out by the middle of the semester that, oh my God, this is like way more work than they thought. So please, don't be one of those folks. So I have course policies laid out here. The biggest one is no late work. It's just, it doesn't make any sense for me to give you an exception on a discussion post. Because a discussion post is a conversation between you and the other students in the course. And if you are not there, if you're not showing up in the weeks that you're all supposed to be thinking about these ideas, then it does me and you nothing. It cheapens what we're doing here. It makes it, it makes it just busy work, right? So I don't accept late work. One thing I do is I do leave the quizzes open. So if you miss a quiz, you can go make that up. But discussion posts, I really can't. And I do give you some leeway. I think I give you one or two for free. But also just know that if you do miss a discussion post, it's not going to be the end of the world. So I would rather you, I'd rather you skip a discussion post, take the 0 on that, apply yourself to the final project, which is where far more of your points are going to come from in the end, than kind of not really put all your weight into it. And so, and again, it doesn't really account for that big of a chunk of your grade, but it is the one thing in this course that you have absolute total control over, because whatever you post there, right, as long as it's on topic and as long as I can see that you did the work, you're going to get credit for it, right? But don't cheapen it. Make it, do the work. You can work ahead 1 to 2 weeks. Don't be that student that does the tries to work through every single module up until the end of the semester. Just don't do it. I have that happen every semester, and it's always really insulting to me and what we're trying to do here. I do have an email policy. Basically, just give me 48 hours. If 3 days go by, you haven't heard from me, try me again. It means probably your email just got buried and I got busy with other stuff. There's a lot of unseen work at the university that your professors do that, in my opinion, teaching is one of the most important roles that I do. But there's other stuff I do, which is also important, right? Like, I'm on a committee, for example, that for student conduct that determines whether or not somebody needs to get thrown out of the university. I'm also on a committee that admits people back in, and that's important work, but it is time consuming, and there's a lot of emails flying around and whatnot. Um, I will give you feedback. Just give me a week. You know, I will say this: the most important week is week 11. It's either week 10 or week 11, where um, you submit what you're going to do for your final project, and you do get everybody gets feedback from me on that. Don't plagiarize. Don't use AI. Um, the assignments that I have in this course are not meant to be busy work. They're meant to actually serve some kind of a purpose. Um, don't use the internet to take quizzes. Don't use AI. Most of the answers aren't even online. They're out of buzzed. And again, knowledge changes too. And buzzed has when it was released, that was the most up to date info, and that's the info I go off of. Um, but there's a lot of new research coming out, and it's quite difficult to stay on top. That said, let's say there is a question, there's some ambiguity. You can argue, and I might consider it. Um, but most of the time, people do fairly well on the quizzes. Um, I have some stuff in here about, remember, you're criticizing the ideas, not the person. And that goes both ways, right? That goes for you receiving the criticism. Don't take it personally. Remember, we're trying to get to a level of understanding, right? It's a reading intensive course. And most importantly, have fun, think outside the box. So the part that you're all probably most interested in, I see a typo. This should say Friday. Um, but you have a creative project, which is a project that can take the form of whatever you want. It could be a paper, it could be a podcast, it could be a infographic, which is what most people choose. What it what you have to do in that project, and there's a rubric in Canvas, and there's a week we go through this. Um, that project is for you to show me that you know what sociology is and how to apply it, how to use it. And um, I I look forward to these. I especially in the regular semesters, I get some really creative projects, and they're a lot of fun. Uh, Quizzes and assignments and discussion questions. One thing I would note is in the discussion boards, it'll say something like a worksheet or something additional that you hand in. There's nothing additional for you to hand in. It's all just a discussion post. Just put everything in the post. Some of them will be extremely long, but that's okay, right? Grading scale 90, 80, 70, 60, simple. Um, and I do try to, at least one time in the semester, give you all some extra credit for something. Sometimes, depending, maybe I'll do 2 or 3 of those. And that's a way you can make up missed discussions or missed points, whatnot. And then you have your schedule, right? This is what we're going to be doing, and all of the things, right? And I give you week 15 to basically work on those final projects. So I don't. I know a lot of professors tend to go through the semester, and then you get to the end, and all of a sudden, during finals week, you have this project that's due that you weren't given any time on. If you plan those discussion posts properly, by week 15, you can stitch this thing together, and it'll be so easy, right? One of the weeks I have you even look up images and charts and whatnot that can be easily slotted into your final project. So when you do those discussion posts, think about how you might do that assignment, and maybe it won't make sense, or maybe it just won't work out. That's okay. But I did try to kind of create a course that's all building to something. You've also got the in the back here. a bunch of information about technology and support and how to contact folks. So you might want to keep this handy. Um, there's even a live chat. I forgot about this. There's a live chat for Canvas support for IT. Um, so, and then of course there's some stuff about the Writing Center and student support services. And that's it, right? That's it. That's the course in a nutshell. Um, it's really an easy course in terms of how the organization. I try to send out a weekly email just reminding you, hey, this is week whatever we're on, and try to remind you, hey, you got stuff due. But it really is up to you. It's on you to do the work. And like I said, if you do the work, if you put in the time, this class will be a breeze, and hopefully something that's pretty enjoyable for you. Um, yeah. So again, I try to keep these things short and sweet, and so um, I'm gonna end it here. But I look forward to meeting all of you, and I look forward to this semester. I'm actually really energized this semester for some reason. Um, so have a great rest of the week, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.